We live on a planet that never ceases to amaze us. Sometimes, nature creates landscapes so perfect they seem painted by a cosmic artist, surpassing any human imagination. Have you ever wondered where reality ends and magic begins? Today, we leave behind the noise of the cities, the daily stress, and our phone screens to embark on a visual expedition to the 5 most spectacular places on Earth. These are not just tourist destinations. They are fragments of paradise that will permanently change the way you look at the world. Prepare your senses, because we are about to journey beyond the horizon. Welcome to a new exploration of our natural wonders. Place 5. Salar de Uyuni, Bolivia. The infinite mirror of the sky. Our first stop takes us to the heart of the Andes, at an altitude of over 12,000 feet. Here lies Salar de Uyuni, the world's largest salt desert, stretching over more than 4,000 square miles. But Uyuni is no ordinary desert. Formed by the drying up of prehistoric lakes, it left behind a crust of bright, white salt that seems to have no end. The truly overwhelming magic happens during the rainy season. That is when a thin layer of water covers the salt, transforming the entire desert into the largest natural mirror on the planet. In those moments, the horizon line disappears completely. Heaven and earth become one, and you feel as if you are walking directly on the clouds. It is a landscape so flat and pure that space agencies calibrate their satellites using the reflection of this very place. In the middle of this white sea, we find Incahuasi Island, a rocky hill populated by giant cacti that have survived for centuries in this arid environment. Uyuni is a place where the silence is so deep that you can hear your own thoughts. Place 4. Santorini, Greece. The pearl born from a volcano leave the cold white of Bolivia for the warm blue of the Aegean Sea. Santorini is not just Greece's most famous island. It is living proof that eternal beauty can be born from disaster. What we see today are the remnants of a massive volcanic explosion that occurred thousands of years ago, destroying the Minoan civilization and leaving behind a spectacular caldera. The towns of Oya and Fira, with their blindingly white houses and roofs as blue as the sea, seem suspended on the edge of a precipice, hundreds of feet above the waves. The Cycladic architecture, with its narrow and winding streets, was created for protection against the wind, but it has become a global symbol of romance. Many historians speculate that Santorini might have been the real location of the legendary Atlantis. But beyond mythology, the most sought-after moment here is the sunset. As the sun sinks into the sea, the white walls of the houses reflect shades of pink and gold, creating a spectacle that no photograph can truly capture. Place 3. Zhangjiajie, China. The floating mountains of Avatar. If you saw the movie Avatar and thought the floating mountains of planet Pandora were just special effects, you were wrong. They truly exist in China's Hunan province, in the Zhangjiajie National Forest Park. Over 3,000 giant sandstone columns rise vertically toward the sky, some reaching heights of over 3,000 feet. Due to the humid climate, these natural pillars are often surrounded by a dense mist. When clouds drift among the ridges, the mountain peaks appear to be floating in mid-air, suspended between earth and sky. The lush vegetation growing directly on the bare rock adds a layer of emerald green to this surreal landscape. For the brave, the park offers the coiling Dragon Cliff, a glass skywalk situated at a dizzying height, where you can look straight down into the abyss beneath your feet. Zhangjiajie is a place where nature reminds us that it has its own logic, defying gravity and our imagination. Place 2. The Amalfi Coast, Italy. The vertical garden of Europe. You return to Europe, to the southern coast of Italy, in what many consider to be the most beautiful drive in the world. The Amalfi Coast is where the Laetari Mountains crash directly into the turquoise waters of the Tyrrhenian Sea. Here, towns like Positano seem built directly onto the vertical walls of the cliffs. The houses, colored in pastel shades, sit atop one another like dominoes carefully placed by a giant hand. Life here has a different rhythm. It is the scent of giant Sorrento lemons floating in the air. It is the sound of old church bells and the unmistakable elegance of the La Dolce Vita style. Every curve of the Nastro Azzurro Road reveals a new breathtaking view: vineyards on terraces, hanging gardens, and small beaches hidden in natural grottoes. Amalfi is not just a geographic location, it is a state of mind. It is the perfect harmony between human architectural genius and the wild ruggedness of the rocky shore. Place 1. Kauai. Hawaii, the last Eden, have reached our final destination, the place that holds the title of the Garden of Eden of the 21st century. The island of Kauai in Hawaii. Being the oldest island in the archipelago, Kauai has had millions of years for erosion to create unique geographical forms. The centerpiece is the Napali Coast. Imagine green cliffs covered in dense jungle, rising over 4,000 feet directly from the deep waters of the Pacific. There are no roads crossing this area. It can only be seen by helicopter or from the sea. Massive waterfalls drop from dizzying heights, fed by Mount Waialil, one of the wettest places on the planet. On this same island, we find the Waimea Canyon, nicknamed the Grand Canyon of the Pacific, an explosion of reddish colors that contrast with the intense green of the jungle. Kauai is where you feel the pure force of nature, a place that seems to have remained unchanged since the beginning of time. Conclusion: whether we are talking about the salt mirrors of Bolivia or the green mountains of Hawaii, these places remind us how small, yet how lucky, our species is to call this planet home. Their beauty is a call for conservation and gratitude. The world is much bigger than our screens and much more spectacular than we can imagine. Which of these destinations has climbed to the top of your bucket list? Leave a comment below and tell me which place you think I missed. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss our next expedition. Until next time, keep exploring and seeking beauty wherever you are.